A new battleground tonight in the fight over religious freedom versus woke education. Montgomery County, Maryland, just outside the nation's capital. That's where an exceptional student might not graduate high school over her religious objection to completing an LGBTQ affirming health course. Ashley Strohmeyer is live in New York with the latest on this. Ashley, good evening.
Hi, Trace. Yeah, a top student in Maryland is being denied her diploma despite having a 4.7 GPA for not completing a mandatory health course. The Montgomery County Public Schools senior and her family have been locked in a legal battle for 2 years now. It's over the inability to opt her out of the class, which her parents say goes against her Christian faith, by requiring students to affirm LGBTQ plus support. So here are the students' parents. We've, of course, altered their voices for privacy reasons. Listen.
We don't care if they talk about it.
Right.
We really don't care. And in fact, it doesn't matter to us. Except.
But that they want to have us affirm that lifestyle, which is against our religion. And that's the difference.
The family says they are not trying to get the district to stop teaching about LGBTQ plus communities, but want those lessons confined to family life and human sexuality curriculum, which is optional.
Our daughter, because she stands for her beliefs, won't be able to graduate with her friends. And that's draining and very hard for her.
He says that she has been accepted to several colleges, but will not be able to enroll without a certificate of completion, adding the district has denied their request to take a similar health course at a faith-based school.
We're not trying to change the school. We just don't want to be involved with teaching moral lessons that our religion is against.
This personal legal battle is timing out, with the Supreme Court weighing parents' ability to opt out of lessons that include LGBTQ-themed books. And the family we have spoken to said there's been no transparency when it comes to curriculum. Montgomery County Public Schools declined to comment due to the current litigation. Trace.
Ashley Strohmeyer live for us in New York. Ashley, thank you. Let's bring in Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters and Defending Education President Nicole Neily. Thank you both for coming on. I mean, the whole thing, Superintendent Walters, here is that this family is just wanting to opt out. Their daughter's got a 4.76 GPA, 1450 on the SATs. She wants to graduate with her friends. They just want to opt out of something they religiously disagree with, sir.
So the student is academically successful, has got an understanding of academics to enter the workforce to have a successful life, but the school is going to force the cultism of wokeism onto this child. Enough is enough. They are trying to trans these kids. They are pushing this indoctrination onto kids. Enough is enough. We have got to fight back against this. Thank God for President Trump. Thank God for school choice. Thank God for parents like these parents that are fighting back against this woke nonsense.
It is one more. I want to play one more soundbite, Nicole, from the father here. Again, we disguised his voice because they just didn't want to be, identified. Watch this.
The guideline for respecting religious diversity was changed. And it now states that you cannot opt out. So we felt like we missed the opportunity when it was available to us. They didn't follow through at that time on their own policies that were written in the handbook and give us the opt-out.
Because, Nicole, they're so tired of having so many students opt out and so many families opt out, they're like, nah, we're taking that option out of the mix.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like you'd think that they would be responsive to their constituents and actually realize that, wow, if hundreds of families across all religions, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, etc., have all said we don't like this, that maybe you'd be responsive to that. But let's remember, Montgomery County is probably one of the worst school districts in the country when it comes to parental rights and civil rights. They were literally in the Supreme Court last week for this issue. I mean, they were hauled before the House Education Committee last year based on anti-Semitism concerns. My organization has paid almost $10,000 just to the district in FOIA fees because they try to hide things. Our friend Bethany Mandel had sued them because of their lack of transparency. And so this district really thinks they're above the law, and I cannot wait for them to get their just desserts.
Meantime, back to your state, Superintendent, because Oklahoma Supreme Court heard arguments today because public funding, the question is, can public funding be used for a religious charter school in your state? Here's what Justice Kavanaugh had to say in this.
And when you have a program that's open to all comers except religion, no, we can't do that. We can do everything else. That seems like rank discrimination against religion. And that's the concern that I think you need to deal with here.
Is it rank discrimination?
Oh, it absolutely is. Look, President Trump understood this. He understood that there was a war on Christianity, a war on faith here in this country. He championed the protection of religious liberties here, and that was a big part of the reason he got elected. And he put folks like Kavanaugh on the court who actually look back to the Constitution. Unfortunately, here in Oklahoma, we've got an attorney general who's leading the war against Christianity, who's leading the war against faith. But listen, we're going to continue to stand up for the families and parents here in Oklahoma and say, listen, we will not allow your religious liberties to get trampled on. Of course, you can start a school. Of course, we want to have more options for parents. Of course, we're going to protect parents' rights. The justices have been spot on, and Justice Alito was correct that our Attorney General has shown discrimination against religion. We are not going to allow that here in the state of Oklahoma. We will protect our kids and protect our families.
Nicole, I want your final thoughts on this as well.
You know, we have smart friends on both sides of this issue. It feels a little bit like mom and dad are trying to get divorced. That being said, obviously the demand for school choice and schools that respect and reflect families' values is rising and is not going away. And so I think, you know, a lot of people are watching this with bated breath.
Yeah. Nicole Neily, Ryan Walters, thank you both.